situation, especially with, these movies and so on. You're always trying to keep up with other people who are naturally very gifted, other very famous actors.
Yeah, exactly.
And at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I'm just like a cardio guy, I guess. No, but so I think I could always do a little better being less hard on myself. I think we all could do a little better being less hard on ourselves, because I think if you're getting out there and you're doing even 20 minutes of something, then I feel like it's a win, and you don't have to, it doesn't have to happen overnight, whatever that goal is that you have.
Yeah, I think that was something that we really did, was enjoying the process, getting and enjoying the sessions. I think what a lot of people don't know too is you've got to really adapt for different roles. You're getting ready for a role right now. It's a little bit different, right? I mean,
It's a little bit different. It's a lot different. Can't discuss that, Don. Don't even ask any other questions.
I'm not bringing anything. That was
no,
I
know.
That's as far as listen, I'm a pro here. You don't have to coach me. I don't know.
I know.
I love you. So let's go to the next question. We got some good questions here. So, Zoe, good question right now. We're going to go to you. When you're working on a set, how hard is it to keep consistency with workouts, and what is your motivation to keep pushing through? Great question.
Yeah, well, I think when you start shooting, it definitely starts to get more difficult, to kind of keep the discipline and the workout routine. Obviously the diet and stuff is very important. I mean, your hours are all over the place, right? Sometimes you go on these night shoots and you've spent the last month getting up at 8 a.m. and having a schedule and eating very specifically, and then suddenly it's 11 p.m. and you're just going to work, and you know what, your dinner is going to have to be at 3 a.m. because if you don't eat, you're going to be exhausted. So I think it's just the adjusting to that. But I always try to get to do a little bit of a workout before getting to set, even if that means getting up at 4 a.m. It just helps so much, Take a selfie.
No, I'm getting some footage here. No, I'm not taking a selfie.
Okay, good.
I'm taking, no. We're at 538 right now, so I'm just impressed that I just can't believe this has been such a great turnout. I'm so beyond touched on this. So we got we're going to keep firing some really cool questions.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So Bailey Atkins asked, when you first started training with Don, were you starting from scratch or were you already comfortable in the gym?
No, I was not. Well, okay. I mean, I was comfortable, but I don't think I really knew what I was doing, and I didn't even really know what my sort of my obstacles were. I didn't really know my body very well. I don't feel like I was eating very well to supplement the training, and I don't think I was training very well. I felt like you and I really took the time to kind of figure out what my strengths and weaknesses were, and I know a lot of people don't get that privilege, to be able to have someone to kind of work with. But I feel like there's enough information out there to kind of, I mean, even just following your routine, I feel like from far away is, even doing that has helped me.
Awesome. I totally appreciate it. We're going to go a couple more questions, and I'm going to jump out of the order a little bit because I know we've had so many questions here, but let's go with Ali. My question for Sebastian would be, what motivates him to do these workouts and staying fit and healthy? Yeah, what does motivate you to do this day in and day out? I mean, you're always doing something.
I think it's a mental thing, it just goes hand in hand with I think a mental state of one of the guys that I love David Goggins. I mean, I think we've spoken about him, and he always said, it's like the physical and the mental are connected, and I really believe that. I'm better at doing my job if I feel like I've done something physically every day.
Awesome, I love that. This is a question about. James asked that he's trying to learn Romanian via Duolingo. Could you suggest some phrases for beginners and say them in Romanian? I'll put you on the spot right now.
Doamne Dumnezeule, dar de ce ai vrea să faci așa ceva? That just means, oh my God, why would you do that? It's like, but it's also one of the sweetest things anybody could do to, you know, I guess, knowing me in any capacity. But learning another language is hard. I mean, it's an Eastern European Latin descent language, so it's actually a lot closer to Spanish and Italian than people think.
Love it. I love it. All right. So we have, actually, this is a great question by Lauren Hayes. Seb, you're in a field where looks are incredibly important, especially on the superhero side. How do you balance physical resiliency and feeling genuinely good in your body with the need to be results focused without losing your mind? All right, hold on, guys. Everyone else, could you, hold on, Seb, I'm just going to mute it quick. Unmute yourself. Sorry, bud. I just muted it. You may want to unmute yourself.
So what was the question? How would I?
So yeah, so you're in a field where looks are incredibly important, especially on the superhero side. How do you balance the physical resiliency and feeling genuinely good in your body? You know, while so what they're asking is like training to look good and to feel good could be two different things. How do you always balance that out, or don't you?
I mean, I think it goes back to that first question, you know, that we were talking about body dysmorphia. Like I usually find that if you're doing any training with the goal of looking good, you're never going to be satisfied. Like you're never going to 100%, you know, because it takes a lot longer than your eyes and your mind can handle, you know, like it takes a minute to see results. You're not going to see results right away, you know, in a week, I mean, or even a month. And so you have to have patience. And I think you have to start with just focusing that, hey, I feel good. My energy is different today. You know, I'm able to do, you know, I did half an hour of running yesterday. And you know what, I'm going to try and do, instead of 30 minutes, I'm going to do 35 minutes today. And then by the end of the month, maybe you're doing 50 minutes, you know, like it's short-term goals that will get you the better results, you know. But if you're going to sit there and be like, oh, you know what, I got to have the six pack, I got to have the six, like, or, you know, I got to lose weight, like, you're going to drive yourself crazy and sometimes even lose energy, and you know what I mean? It just has to be patience.
Yeah. I mean, that was something where I think, listen, I've been very open with, you know, some of my struggles with, you know, always trying to be at a certain level. And I think if you really obsess over trying to get to a certain point, like you're kind of losing that, you know, like part of the battle and part of the fun is like that daily grind. And I just think you did something that I really admired. Like you really pivoted and you learned not to stress so much day in and day out. You go in and you'd work out and do what needs to be done and do the best with your nutrition and then call it a day, right? I mean, that was something you had to work towards a little bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, I've had, you know, we're talking now about almost 10 years that we've been doing this. You know, obviously I wasn't always as clear about it as I feel now. You know, when we started. And I had to learn to have patience. But I do believe in setting those short goals for yourself and staying as patient as you can. That will keep you happier and working longer rather than throwing in the towel sooner, you know?
No, I totally agree. Now this question's going to the one of the birthday girls today. All right, so we're going to go Amanda Ross. She's smiling right now. She's all happy. It is her birthday today. And she said, question for Seb, what's the hardest part of your training program, the workouts or wanting to cheat on nutrition?
Oh, no. I mean, I think it's both. Listen, you got to have a good cheat meal, man. You have to. Like, you know, the pizza days, like, how do you get through it? You have to have one day at least where you're you know, treating yourself to whatever that may be, you know, whatever your favorite thing is to do. I don't know. Like, you got to allow yourself to do that because I think you need the recharge, you know. What's your favorite cheat meal, Don?
Man,
Just a
it's
bottle
funny.
of
I mean,
vodka.
it's bottle of tequila. No,
Yeah.
I'd say, listen, I love burgers and fries, but if I'm going to do that, I'm going to top that off with
It's
like hot apple pie with ice cream. Like it's typically, I talked to Ryan Reynolds about this. Like sometimes we've been known in the past when we dive into some cheats, we're literally doing it until we can't see. And it's been it's something that's not good. But sometimes you
oh
get in the zone. Sometimes you need it. People ask, well, how do you stay motivated? I feel like when you're losing motivation, if you throw in like a big meal or a couple meals in a day and you kind of wake up the next morning, you start feeling a little bit hungrier. And I feel like that
uh,
really kind of helps you stay motivated.
yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Of course. I mean, I think some of that is I don't know. Like I went through a period where I was definitely eating chocolate every day to some extent. I mean, I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't. I wasn't doing it like like 5 chocolate bars. But again, it was a little thing that I had during the day, and sometimes that's okay too. You go through periods.
100%.
Happy
This was,
happy birthday.
yeah, yeah, Amanda, happy
Thank
birthday, girl.
you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Let's go. Britt now is asking a great question. Seb, do you find it mentally difficult to go from one body type to another in preparation for roles, especially if the change is really drastic?
Yeah, of course, because your everything is connected to your body. You know what I mean? Like even trauma and stuff it's all muscle memory. Your body, it's like if you're experiencing an accident, right, and your body's going like that, like then that gets stored in the body much more than the mental stuff. And so likewise, I feel like if you're changing your body, you're changing how you're eating, you're going to change how you sleep. And if you change how you sleep, you're going to change how you feel during the day. And if you're, what's it called? If you're being really strict with your diet, let's say, and you're not eating certain things. I mean, I remember one of the things I do, we've talked about this, is like if there's a shirtless scene or whatever, then at least a month before you cut out all the sugar.
Yeah.
I mean, all like apples and raspberries, like just no sugar, and that means no carbs, right? But like even just no fruit, and you can be a very irritable person on that. and then your body gets through it, like it gets adjusted after a week or two, and suddenly you don't need that anymore. Like you're like, oh my god, I feel so much better because I'm your body's just running on clean food, and so it's yeah.
Yeah, totally understand. Let's go with Janelle Morrison's asking a good question. Hi, Sebastian. Thanks so much for joining us. I would love to know how the pandemic has affected your training and if you have any tips on keeping a positive mindset in such unprecedented times.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you can't really do much in a pandemic, haven't really, I mean, you can, of course you can. Well, we did. I mean, I got a bunch of dumbbells, right? I texted you. I had like 2 dumbbells, two 25-pound dumbbells, texted you. And then we had a program of just doing like a lot of reps. So again, it wasn't like I was, keeping up the same weight I was doing in a regular gym, but it still did something. I actually also feel like in a way it inspires, hopefully, I don't know, like you have to get creative. You have to get out of the gym and maybe go on that run or go for a longer walk or go, find a different outlet, so to speak, but of course you miss the gyms.
Oh, 100%. This is kind of a funny question because I remember during the pandemic, we had to get creative, but Candace Stone asked, Seb, what is the strangest item you've used for weights while waiting on set between takes or in your hotel room? So have you ever had to get creative with your training and do things that are out of your comfort zone is basically what Candace is asking.
Oh yeah. I mean, with the pandemic, for example, I was, it's like you were trying to go to the grocery store as like least amount of times as possible. So what would happen, and I wasn't taking Ubers or cars or anything. So, and in New York, like you got to walk, right? So I remember I was going to the grocery store, and then I was just trying to do one big shopping thing, so I don't have to come back there for like a week and a half. But then I'd end up with these bags, and it would take me at least an hour to carry them. So I was doing a lot of lifting with bags of groceries for a while. That gave me an idea, and then water jugs. What do you call it? Like,
Yeah,
but
gallon jugs.
yeah, jugs. Yeah, and then at one point I tied a towel around. I managed to tie it around, like this. There's a thing. There's a thing in my house where you could tie a towel around it, um, and you probably know it because like really super like fans love to leak my address. But anyway, you tie. So kind, lovely people. I tie the towel around this bar, and I was pulling myself up for pull-ups. So I was
That's
doing
actually
that.
that's very hard to do with a towel, by the way. That's pretty solid.
1 to 3 at a time.
Yeah, dude, it's no joke. So Stephanie A asked, question for Seb and Don: how do you guys train for a role when Sebastian has a short amount of time to prepare?
How do we train for a role if we have a short amount of time to prepare?
I don't think. I mean, it's never like. I never feel like you're ever coming to me and you're like, I have 2 weeks, right? I mean, it's never like that, is it?
No. We've usually Marvel will at least give us like a 2 months heads up.
It's like Christmas. Oh my God, it's amazing.
We should do this every Friday night, Don.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, it's never, if it's something serious, it wouldn't be that short of amount of time.
Yeah, I totally agree. And actually, this is a good question. I don't know this about you. I can't believe it. Sebastian, are you a dog person?
I love dogs. Dogs are great.
Sambuca and rigatoni.
Yeah. No, I love dogs. The problem is, you have to, it's just traveling so much. Like it's very tough to get dogs around. The dogs that I like would be very tough because I would love bulldogs or huskies. Those are the kinds of dogs I like.
I love huskies. I used to have a husky. I miss him. His name was Colin. Great question right now from Maddie McKelly. Hi, Sebastian. I was wondering if you had a favorite NYC cheat meal. Hope you're doing well. The city misses you.
And a favorite NYC cheat meal, just to see all of you guys there.
No,
listen,
what is your favorite New York City cheat meal? What do you like to have?
I mean, we know this one. I've spoken about it. And they certainly don't need any help, although they will always want it. It's probably that pizza place.
Not Rubirosa, is it?
Of course, Rubirosa.
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah, Rubirosa.
What's your favorite pie there? I mean, they have that. I get that vodka pie with sausage on it. It's literally like heroin. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that one, yeah. Or I sometimes I've even gotten the all white, like the all the cheeses one. I've done that one, the pepperoni. I mean,
it's sick. I mean, it's great too. You can go in there, order like a large beer, like dim lighting. It's kind of like right off of off of Mulberry or something like that. It's right on Mulberry, I think. It's sick. Oh my God, I miss that.
Well, the internet can really help everyone find everything. So
yeah, well, we're gonna go next time we're in this.
Yeah, maybe it's gonna open at some point.
Hope so. All right, let's move on. All right, fun question here. I want to see how you answer this. Lori Hicks wants to know who would win in an ISO squat challenge between you and Don.
What's an iso squat
So
challenge?
when you get down into a squat position and you do like an iso hold, you know, when you have to sit here and hold. Remember when we did those for
Oh,
periods? Who's winning that? I don't know.
you're
Uh,
definitely winning that. I
I'm
mean, you've
on.
got thighs of thighs of glory. It's yeah, it's those
Oh my
deep
god.
squats, man.
Oh my god. No, you have a good squat though. Well, we're getting a lot of cheat meal questions, which we've already answered. Let's keep going on. This is actually all right. So Matt Chua, my boy Matt, who's training for a big photo shoot right now, has got some great abs on him. He said, Seb, he said one of your posts you mentioned that for years you struggled with self-judgment and mental wars when it came to fitness. How challenging would some days at the gym be during those times? When did you finally overcome those judgments and felt confident and comfortable with yourself and the progress you made? And how do you maintain the mindset as you continue to pursue your personal goals when it comes to fitness and healthy lifestyle? So I know there's a bunch of questions in there, but he's basically saying like, you know, how challenging would some days at the gym be during those times? When did you finally overcome those judgments? I mean, you're very open about things that we've talked about.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was, when I was, yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up with sports. I played sports, but I was not like the most athletic kid, um, and I struggled with, I struggled. I didn't struggle with weight, but maybe a little bit. Like there were some funky years for me where I was in high school and I had an accent, and I'd come from a different country, and I don't know, like people were picking on me all the time, whatever. Like I had my moments like anybody else, right? So and sometimes, as you know, those things like build over time, and they can sit in your mind a certain way, and um but I really discovered sort of fitness around when I went to college, and then I think it was over time, right? Confidence over time, like
Yeah.
even with you, and just finding a way to, when you have good goals and it's working out, you have to celebrate it a little bit. If you get that extra rep, or you've maxed out, or you've gotten an extra mile in, like you gotta like take a moment to celebrate that. And then, you know what? Yeah, like it's like I bit the bullet too, and I posted a shirtless thing, but again, I was like, I literally was, I need to know that this actually has happened. I may not even ever get this. This might be like a peak of sort for me. So but you do it to kind of motivate yourself, not just to like show off or whatever. I think there's a way to do it in a way that feels like you can be proud of those achievements, right? And not just shove it down people's faces like once a week or whatever. But if it's a good moment that you're having, go out there and own it, and that's going to carry you further and carry you back in there. And everybody's dealing with that.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite things that you said today. I mean, I mean, of all these challenges that are on, the fun thing every morning is I'm waking up and I'm going through all the comments on Facebook, and people are flexing, and people who normally wouldn't have flexed in the past. And I think it's the way of them saying, I'm here, like I'm putting the work in. And you know as well as I do, like we've had some really tough sessions in our life where, you're going through it and you're like, oh my God, like when's this going to end type of thing. And then when you get through it and you're laying on the floor, we would make joke posts out of it, right? But when you're laying on the floor with your team or your crew or your people, or even just one person, if it was you and I, there's that feeling of like, oh my God, I did it. I got through it. And I feel like that's kind of what brings us back, doesn't it?
I do. I do think that. And again, I feel like, your mind very much works, is set up by this sort of dopamine reward system. It's just how it is. And that's why you can't drill sergeant your way through everything. Like you have to find a way sometimes to own and those moments that you've earned through hard work, right? Because then it keeps you coming back again and again. Look, man, there's a great documentary out there. I mean, I was just watching it. I think it's on HBO. And it was all about all Olympians, like Michael Phelps and other really great, talented, you know, men and women who were like gold medal winners at Olympics. And I'm like blanking. Maybe it's the weight of gold. No, it's out there on HBO. Watch that documentary. I mean, those guys deal with mental issues so much, right? Because if there's too much input and not enough output, or rather the other way around, if there's too much output and not enough input, you're going to crash, and you're going to
Right.
hit a wall, no matter how hard you're working out. I mean, you told me about that friend of yours that one time that, it's like, and he was like, what, 2% body fat, which wasn't even a
Yeah.
healthy thing, like
Yeah.
you can't be so difficult on yourself, and you got to earn those moments.
No, I totally agree with that. We got a good question here from Crash, one of our more seasoned veterans. Crash, I'm joking. You're very young. Have you, Seb?
54.
I love it. 54 years young. So Crash,
Yes.
Seb, how have your workouts and recovery evolved as you've aged over the last 8 or so years since training with Don? Great question.
That is a great question. Well, the workouts have evolved, and look, I'm definitely, I'll own this. I'm definitely at fault sometimes for not resting enough, and because again, you love, you feel so good after a workout, and again, it's there's a mental component to it, but you have to rest, because otherwise you can get injured that way. And so the resting part I've been working on more too. And here's the weird part, like, I don't know, man. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I haven't lifted one thing in a month and a half, maybe. All I've been doing is running, and I thought like I was just gonna like walk out and just not have any muscle, like nothing. And it's weirdly like I'm still pretty strong, like even though I haven't really done as much as I usually do, right? So your body, it's okay. Like, if you want to take that 1 week off, like it's gonna be okay. Like it's not gonna stop. If you don't want to take the week off because of this, right, then we got to find better ways to get off of this, and go on a walk and listen to a song, or if you can't put the phone away, or meditate and stuff. But your body's not going to have that much of unless you're a crazy person, you want to go crazy. And I think even if you eat a pizza a day for a week, like,
yeah, you're going to be all right.
Yeah. So I would say definitely take that rest once in a while.
It's funny when you just turned around, you just said it's gonna be all right. You said it in a way that like I feel like you and I say that. I've been saying that to each other so many times.
To ourselves
to ourselves and to each other. But like I get sarcastic with the challenger sometimes. I'm like, guys, if you miss a day, it's gonna be all right. Like if you turn around and for some reason you have a meal, and it's gonna be all right. And I think what it is that my fear is that someone just slips into that pattern and they never come out of it. But I think in the back of our heads, if we know this is part of life, right? Like I'm gonna go, when you have a pizza, the next day you're like, okay, that was amazing, I enjoyed it. Back to business, right? And if we get that mindset, we don't look at it as such a negative thing, then I think we start enjoying life a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. And it's always the pressure we put on ourselves. I mean, look, you and I, we want to be still doing this. Like there are times. I mean, like I remember even in the pandemic when I was, in New York, I was running all the time, and that was a big mental component. And sometimes I would see somebody like 20, 5 years older than me, you know, like in their 50s, in their 60s, still running at their pace and going wherever they were. And maybe they were running 10 minutes, stopping for 5, walking, whatever, picking it up again. And you're like, okay, cool. The commitment, you know, of just still putting in the work, I guess. You know, we can't lose as we get older, but
I love
we
it.
gotta listen.
And you said it, like you've been running, you've been doing, you know, you've been training for what you need to be training for right now, and your body's fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to bounce back. We got a really good question right now from Kimmy. So Kimmy asked, for Sebastian, what is your favorite exercise and least favorite exercise that Don has you do? Good question.
Yeah. Well, my favorite exercise, you know what? I love that lateral pull down. I mean, I think pull-ups and lateral pull downs those are always the greatest. I love that exercise. I could do that all the time.
It's like Tone, he's got his wings.
Tone, yeah, he's got his wings. I mean, yeah. And he'll do those super wide ones too. My least favorite, it's probably all in the squats and stuff. I mean, it's just all the leg stuff, which is the most important stuff, right? Like, I feel like, because it's all, your whole body is affected by that, right? You're burning the most calories and all that. Like the squats can be so annoying. Those front bar squats.
Oh, well, you remember those Frankenstein squats? We were doing those. I actually saw a video the other day of us in the gym, and like, where everyone's
horrendous.
dying, and I'm just horrendous. It's like one of the worst things ever. This is actually a fun question here. Never really hear you talk about it. So aside from fitness questions, this is from Mike Diorsi. Aside from fitness questions, Sebastian, what is your advice for people starting their acting careers in the entertainment industry?
Quit Instagram. Quit all social media. No, man. I only say that in the sense of, you know, you got to find a way to quiet the noise, you know, and you've got to, you know, you're taking on whatever it is you're taking on, right? Whether it's acting or music or whatever. You know, we're living in a society now where, I mean, when I started acting, you know, when I was like 15, I went to a camp. We didn't even have cell phones, but they didn't even let you bring cell phones. You know, all we did is just get up, go to an acting class, you know, then go to a dance class, because I did a lot of musicals, and then you'd be there with other kids your age, and all you do is like connect, you know. And I feel that we're living in a world now where just like there's just constant bombardments of do this, be this. Well, this person's doing this. Well, I don't think you should do that. And, you know, it's like, okay, I mean, do you, to quote Tone, right? You got to do you. You cannot lose you as you're going, you know, and you cannot care what people think, because I'll tell you, even when you're doing well, it's still it still isn't like what you think. It's your mind can't quite grasp it, you know. That's how I feel about reviews. It's like, it's amazing when you get a good review. When you get a bad review, it's like you're like, oh, I should never do this with my life. But then when you get a good review, even then you're kind of fucked, because then you're like, wow, okay, so maybe I could never do that again. Now I have to, you know. Like they definitely made a mistake, or, oh my God, like now every time I have to, you know, deliver like the thing. And so again, if you're starting out, ask yourself, why do you want to do this? Why is it something you feel like day in, day out, no matter what obstacle, no matter what anybody says, no matter what hardship, rejection, all that stuff, you're going to get back up again, and you're going to go back out there and say, fuck you, I'm doing me. Where are you going to find that energy? Where are you going to find that, you know, find it, and then let that be pushing you, you know. But it's, you know, and get that book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Very important, you know.
Wow, Seb's having a little bit, we like to call it a coaching moment, where I go off on my rants. You see, Seb,
do you? I got to catch some of those rants. But yeah, I mean, it's like, it's so important to protect you know, like creativity is, I mean, look, there's creativity in anything, you know that. I mean, it's like, you don't have to be a pianist or an actor or a writer. I feel like there's creativity in all functions. We're, as people, we're all creative, you know, like doctors have to improvise in surgery sometimes, like, you know, so, but again, it's one of those like very little things we have to protect in a way in order to keep, you know, to let it keep showing up for us, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right. And I think I'm glad you went there on Instagram, because it is very easy. And I deal with it with a lot of people. You can get blurred by a
Well,
lot of.
or use Instagram for the right things, you know. I mean, like, look, it's like, you know, follow things that are helpful to you, that you're going to see that are going to inspire you, or, you know, get behind the right thing, or, you know, I mean, it's amazing, right, in the way that is allows you and me to sort of like, in a way, have an idea or talk about something and reach people. Like, that's the thing that I love about it, is that you can reach people, you know. So I'm not entirely putting it down for that. I just think you also have to be, you have to just kind of filter through some of the negative stuff.
Yeah, no, totally, 100%. We'll take a very serious question right now from Stephen Robbins, just to kind of switch gears a little bit. Sebastian, don't you think that in order to promote male body positivity, Don should grow out his chest hair for this next photo shoot?
Yes, that's fun. Thank God he
Man.
said that. Whoever said that, it's the best thing ever. If you could please that would be so amazing. After so many years of shaving it, you're gonna end up like,
I don't
it's
shave.
gonna be
It's
thick.
it's a trim. God, it's not
Yeah,
really a shave. It's a trim. So what's, oh God, Andy Beat, I got to ask you this question. There's no way Seb can answer this. Sebastian, what's the meanest thing Don has said to you? That's really funny. I don't know. I never say anything mean to you.
Oh my God. I mean, what did you say to me? You've never said anything mean to me. You've always said something like, you know, empowering, in the sense of like, all right, come on, like, let's go, like one more, you know, let's get it done, or whatever.
It's those days doing intervals. You remember those days doing guys? We used to set treadmills up. We'd literally have like 8 of us, and we'd have them on the incline, and the wheel would be flying, and we'd literally be jumping on and off these things. We'd be tripping, and the sweat would be flying everywhere. And
That's a great one, right? Like what, like 10, like running for 10 seconds at like a 12-mile speed, right?
Yeah,
and then
12,
hopping
we were going
off.
up high. Oh my God, we were on an incline. We were on like a 10-degree incline. We were on a super high incline. You're sitting there, you're like, oh! Yeah, we're all. That's the first.
I'm not doing those exercises these days.
Oh man, this is a good question. Sarah Wenk asked. I love Sarah. She asks good questions. What was your favorite day for the workout? What did you struggle with? So what's your favorite workout day? Now remember, Seb, all these workouts that I'm building, Seb and I have done. But what's like your favorite workout day? I bet I can answer. I already know it. But go ahead. What's your favorite body part you train? Let's go there.
Oh, well, I mean, you know, any sort of arms, chest situation is always a fun workout. And I mean, working out on a Friday is pretty good too, I feel like. But then like sometimes Monday workouts would be good too, because then you can start the week off right.
Yeah, I like the Monday day. I like legs Monday, because you just get it done with, type of thing. It's like
it's also the worst thing you can possibly do on a Monday.
Good. Oh, I actually like this question. I like all the questions. When I say that, I kind of get excited when I see certain questions. But Luke Jeffrey asked, question for Sebastian: is it hard to get into shape to play the Winter Soldier, or harder to get into headspace to play him? It's a good question.
Well, I mean, I guess now it's more of a head thing than it was at the beginning. I think when I think earlier, like when that, because we started before the Captain America Winter Soldier, and I think around that time the physical thing was really challenging for me, and it was definitely something that I was worried about, just because I felt like if I didn't feel strong, I couldn't like I wanted to feel strong going to set to build my confidence for that character as he had to be strong or whatever. And now I'm better with that, I guess.
I love it. Okay. So now, all right, we got a question from Clem, who's one of our challengers. I'm always coming at. So Clem, we're gonna fire this one off the stab. But I have one question for Mr. Stan in 27 and a half parts. Love that. And that's a joke, Sebastian. Don't worry. Was that your real hair in the Civil War movie? My daughter is bent over the fact that you and Chris Hemsworth cut theirs.
Yeah, what happened was it was the only time, there was only one time when I had long hair, that it was a wig. Civil War was my own hair. When we started, what happened was when we first started, it wasn't long enough the way that we had wanted it, and then we had some extensions added in, and then by the end of the shoot, the hair just kept growing, and we kept cutting out the extensions.
Okay. This is a question for Seb and Dom, but this one's only going to Seb. No one wants to hear me talk. You guys hear me talk enough. Juliana Finnerty asked, question for Seb. I was just wondering how you determine the difference between when you're trying to do too much schedule-wise versus when you just need a little more motivation to get your stuff done. It's like asking, like, when am I training too much because of overtraining, or when am I not training enough? So schedule-wise, how do you, where's that line where you're like, you're doing too much or you're not doing enough?
Well, it's definitely a good question, because that line is,
you're always doing too much.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, yes and no. The problem is that it doesn't always come, like it either comes all at once or not at all, and then it's just, you have no balance. But I would say this, like, no matter how crazy it gets, you have to know those few little things that put you in the best mood, that give you make you feel as best as possible, and for me, it's like, I have to meditate every day. I have to do a little something physical every day. And I know if I do a bit of that before I start to do anything, I'm going to do it better,
Yeah. All right. So we got about 10 minutes left. You've been so gracious with your time, and we appreciate it. But if it's cool with you, can we hit a couple more questions? Because everyone's pretty excited.
Yeah, no, this has been awesome. And it's been nice for us to check in, but also just, to say hi to everybody. And, thank you. Thank you for everyone who came out to support the show this weekend. You made us look pretty good.
Yeah.
And, Anthony and I, and, we're very grateful for the turnout that we had, and it's been really nice.
Awesome. So we have a question from Hope. All right. So Hope's asking, question for Sebastian. First off, huge fan and very excited to have seen the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, which was fantastic. Anywho, I like how she put that. When you are out and about filming, how do you manage your time when it comes to working out? Do you work out on set, or do you find the local gym? Also, what is your go-to cardio workout?
Well, running has always been something, like, even before I met Don, it was always the one thing I used to go back to, was the running. And I feel like running is a good meditative thing if you can get into it, yeah, wherever. I mean, if the gyms are okay to go to, I would definitely go to a gym. But if not, then I would just do something outside, or I would get a pull-up bar at home. Like, this is the easiest workout. I mean, we talked about it. Best, every day, if you do this, like I did this in the pandemic, get a pull-up bar and do 100 pull-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 sit-ups. Do that once a day. You're going to be sore the next day. The next week, like, work out more into it. And then if you do that for like once a day for a whole week, a whole month or whatever, even alternate it, like with running, and then do that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and run Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday, you're good. You'll be good.
And guys, he's not saying do 100 at once. All right, Seb, they're all like 100 at once. Seb could probably do that.
No. the best way to do it is like, you'd put a timer, right? And see how much you can, and how long. No, you go like with the pull-ups, like you start out and you go, maybe you do 10, and then you get it, you take some breaths, you go back in, you do another 10. If not, you're already feeling it, do 3. Like, do one at a time, like just get to 100. And then once you get to 100, you move to the push-ups. Maybe you do 20 push-ups. Then you're like, okay, you try to go for another 10, but you get 5. Now you're at 25. You wait, you do another 5. You just, however long it takes you, as long as you get to 100.
Great. And Laura, do not unmute yourself, but Laura Summers says, what's up? I know you've had a good connection.
Hey!
Laura's your girl over there, so I know she's, and it's funny because Laura met me through Sebastian. Laura, do not unmute yourself. I'm calling you out right now because I know how Laura gets it. We love you, Laura. I'm just kidding. But but that was a perfect example, Seb, on how social media really, it introduced us to a great person. We were able to help a great person, and
exactly.
I find positive out of that, and that was great, and that's why we're all here. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Let's go with Laura. We love you. I'm just kidding. Jocelyn asked for Sebastian, what is your favorite breakfast, and are you a good cook? We'll do about a couple more questions.
The weird thing is, I do love breakfast. I love all breakfast. The only difference about it is that I actually don't. I hardly eat it at breakfast. Like, I might end up having breakfast at like after this call, or
I love it.
or like for like I lately, I don't know, like I've been Don. I know it's different for you because you're in a different world with this. Like, but I find it better when I'm not eating in the morning right away. Like, a little bit later. But I could do anything with eggs and avocado.
Oh, it's amazing.
Is amazing. Yeah.
Eggs and avocado are incredible. Let's go with 6:52. We're going to go with about 5 minutes of questions left, and then we're going to let Mr. Stan go make some eggs and pancakes, which I know he's going off to eat right now. I'm only kidding. You better not be eating that.
No, I'll be good.
Not right now. Not right now. Marissa asked, question for Sebastian. What motivates you, or what was the most difficult thing to do to get into a role? It's a broad question, but it's interesting. Like, do you ever remember having to audition and just go through a really challenging audition to get into a role, or anything like that? The answer could be no.
Yeah, no. I mean, no. They all have different challenges, of course. I mean, and look, there are still directors I want to work with who I can't get them to see me for their parts. I don't know, but like it doesn't sort of ever end. But I guess, yeah, like even the Marvel audition, that was a total of, in 2010, that was, I made 3 audition tapes, and then I had 2 auditions in person, and then a screening test. So that was a total of, like, I want to say like 6 that I did, and the whole time you're going through it, like, what did I do last time that worked? Like, I have to try and do it again. And you have to sort of just kind of, readjust. But there's that. And yeah, I mean, I think each role is different and has different challenges, All
right, let's take 2 more questions, and then we're going to wrap. Hold on one second. I just missed one I wanted to ask. Okay, so Sydney Clifton asked, question for Seb. You said in your 7-year commemoration post to working with Don, which is on the poster for the challenge, that you sucked it up and finally posted this. Can you speak more on why it was difficult for you to post that selfie in the first place? You kind of went into it a little bit earlier, but I think but elaborate on it a little bit.
Well, because it's like, you can't, because there's always a funny feeling of like, here I am,
Yeah.
Like, you're like, by the way, like, there's always that feeling of like, I'm this guy. But again, like, so I felt very silly, I guess, in a way. By the way, I didn't know that somebody recently as now, explained to me about what thirst pics are, Don. Your
What is that? I have no
profile's
idea.
very thirst pics oriented.
I don't know what that is. I
I
don't know what
think I'm
that is.
saying it right. Am I not saying it right? It is. It's a
Yeah,
thirst
they're
trap.
not. I see Or nodding her
Yes,
head and laughing. Megan's laughing. So we're all
exactly.
good,
So
good.
it was like, oh, you put on a thirst trap. That's great. And I was like, whoa, okay, well, that sounds terrible. But anyway, again, like it was a good moment. You wanted to celebrate it. And again, you know, I guess like I felt like I earned it in some way. And I have to say to this day, I think I told you this, Don, it was after that post that Men's Health called, because I feel like I had called Men's Health quite a few times, waving my hand, going, please. And then that post came and, you know, suddenly we had a call. So I don't know. It's like,
It might
it's
have
a,
worked. It might have worked.
look, just as long as you're like, just make fun of yours. You have to not take yourself too seriously. Like that's gotta be it.
All right. So listen, I'm going to ask a question now, and actually, it's more of a comment, because I think the reason why, and I could say this, like I love you like a brother. I think we've seen each other at our best, and we've seen each other at times where we're, you know, not in our best form, right? And I think when you see someone in that vulnerable state, and you see how, you know, we all have our good and bad days, I think that like it's kind of like going to war with someone, right? And I know the one thing I've been dealing with and talking to a lot of the challengers with on is um, just every day is not going to be perfect, and just hanging in there, and just, you know, being in the game right now and working out. It's such a privilege that we can do this, and not putting pressure on ourselves, and kind of how we have one life to live, and trying to pump them up and just say, listen, there are days when Sebastian walks in, he doesn't want to be there. I walk in, I don't want to be there. But we start establishing a little bit of a habit. So can you give some motivating words to everyone over, you know, for them to carry with them, not just this month or next month, but, you know, throughout their next months or years, that they can remember. Doesn't have to be monumental, but something to the effect of like, guys, like, why are we here? Keep pushing. Like, do you have anything that they can leave with?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think this is a huge topic, you know, and it's all good if we go over it a little bit. It's fine. I mean,
Thank you.
I think, yeah, I mean, I think you definitely know a lot about this, and I think it's something that has to be reiterated over and over again, because, again, it comes with finding a balance that applies to each individual person, you know. There are days where you go to work, you know, that you go and you have a presentation, or you're talking to a nutritionist, you're talking to other people, you know, in the fitness world, like, and maybe you didn't sleep so well that night, you know, like, or, you know, the words aren't really there, or, you know, you're not, you know, there are days where I've gone to set and been like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I don't even, like, this is, they're all, you know, this is, and every time I work on anything, like that's the moment I go, this is the one where they're going to realize that I can't do this. This is when they're all going to know, like, that I've never been good at that, you know, like, and so like everybody has that thing, you know, and I feel like in those moments, what you have to do essentially is like, cause like you can't like, same with anxiety. Like you can't just be like, no, I'm not going to think about it. No, I'm the best. I'm the best. Like sometimes affirmations work. You know, I think there's something about getting into a meditation sometimes where, you know, in the morning, you could say to yourself, like, look, I'm going to try to have a good day today. It can be simple. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to be the best version of myself. Like it can just be like, I want to have a good day today. You know, say that to yourself, like as you close your eyes and you're taking some breaths. And then again, like maybe that's the goal, right? Like, but so sometimes affirmations work, but in those days when it's like, I really don't want to do this, I really don't feel good about any of this, or it's all just kind of falling apart. I actually think you have to go there. You have to go into it and go, okay, it's all going to fall apart. Okay, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Okay, I'm tired and I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, like fuck everything. you know, like be in that thing that you're trying, that's like happening to you. And something happens like from that, because then you take a second, you give yourself permission to be down for a minute, and then maybe then you get like a little feeling where you're like, you know what, okay, I'm too tired to run my usual 3 miles, because I've run the same 3 miles up and down all week, and I don't want to do it today. But maybe I'll go on a walk instead, you know, and you compromise, you find the compromise, you know, like a little bit. And that sort of has helped me in the past. And in terms of acting, whenever I've been in those moments of defeat, you know, actually accepting it has led to these amazing journeys and pathways of, you know, like things I didn't plan for, you know. So I think there's those moments are actually like real gifts in a way, if you can allow yourself to just accept it, and just say today is that day. And you know, then like your body and your mind can start moving and finding other little things that you can do, and you can compromise, you know.
I
I
love,
don't
I
know.
love, I love it. I mean, I think that was perfectly put. And
or
listen,
or or you're like, or it's like Sunday or whatever, and you're like, I don't want to go and work out today. And then you're like, but you know what, if I do, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna order that pizza, and I'm gonna have that brownie, and I'm gonna have, you know, like that glass of whatever, and then I'm gonna go and sit and watch this thing that's not gonna do anything but just made me not think about anything. And then like go do it. Like give yourself the gift, you know, and power through. Like so anyway, that was a long answer, but
no, it was a good answer. I mean, I think the takeaway is like, why are we all here? Like, what are we all doing? Like, this is gonna. I mean, not to depress people, but 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, this is over for
dude,
all of us. I mean, is it
dude,
like
it's going by.
it's going by. Like, let's just
It's
enjoy it, not to put this pressure and just
well,
fucking live,
but
love. You know?
no, I know, and look, like I think it's easy, you know, to say that, and again, we have to admit, like, you know, you and I have been very lucky. We've been very, very lucky in a lot of ways. A lot of people are not lucky, and a lot of people are out there like stranded. They've lost a lot of everything. I mean, you know, like, so again, it's like I say it with a grain of salt, but I do feel like we have to stay conscious that, you know, it is going by really fast. And, you know, at some point, I guess like we should really pay attention to the things that we care about, or what we are going to give a fuck about, you know, like if we're going to give a
Right.
fuck about something, let's give a fuck about something that's actually going to, you know, put something else in motion or help somebody, or you know, because worrying about, I don't know, certain things that we worry about sometimes is can drain you as well.
100%. Well, listen, man, you went over. I know you've had a crazy schedule the last couple months, and love you. And you've been. Everyone knows
Well,
Seb's
no,
such a big person in my life. You've been such a big friend to me. So thank you.
no, listen, I love you to death. I mean, you know, we pick each other up. Look, again, we're very lucky to have each other, and I feel like, you know, we just got to keep using the social media for the right thing, and that's what we got to keep doing. And you know, I think it's good that at least we, even in a pandemic when we couldn't go to the Ronald McDonald's house, at least we were able to say hello to them, and sort of send our love in other ways. So, you know, we just got to keep going.
I love it. And listen, maybe you know, you got a crazy stuff. Maybe next year we redo this for the Ronald McDonald House and we try and raise double the money. You know, we'll think of something fun. You know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think what's going to have to happen is at some point is we just have to kind of do these live challenges, which I'm not condoning at the moment. But I think that, you
No,
know,
not condoning it. But you know what? They actually created a good name for what I'm doing, and they called it DonCon, not Comic Con, DonCon. So
Don
we're gonna have to
Khan. Oh my God.
drag you to a
Yeah.
DonCon to make an appearance.
Well, like I'm saying, it's like we could say, okay, you know, we're gonna train to get up to this, you know, like this month. Who's with us? You know, what are we gonna, you know,
I
let's.
would do that. That would be fun. Kind of do a follow along. That could be great. All right.
Yeah.
We will talk about it. Well,
Anyway.
listen, man, thanks for your time.
All right.
And
No
everyone, guys,
worries.
thank you. We're gonna let Seb go. You've been so gracious with your time. I'll call you in the next day or so.
Thank you guys
you.
for participating and for supporting us.
All right, everyone can unmute
right.
and just yell. Give a big yell.
I
Goodbye.
love you.
Bye, Seb.
See you.
Thank
Thank
you.
we
Thank
rave.
you. Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Seb.
Thanks, Seb.
Bye. Bye.